Morning, everybody. KC here. So there's a story in the Wall Street Journal this morning that considers the whole notion of e-grocery, right? And I think it's clear, just from what's gone on in the last 6 months, the acceleration of e-commerce when it comes to the grocery business, that it's no longer just a question of if, it's not even a question of when it comes to e-grocery. It's really a question of how, and the different ways in which different companies are going to come at this challenge. If we've accelerated 3 or 4 years into the future, it means even as grocery stores are seeing some of the best quarters of their lives, they really have to still race to kind of catch up so they can make sure they're relevant in an environment where e-grocery is going to become more of an acceptable option to consumers. Now, listen, there's no question that some people are still doing delivery. Delivery is more expensive, less profitable than click and collect. That's the thing, it seems to me, that retailers have to focus on more and more. It is the short-term solution to the problem because that's what people want. I'll tell you personally, I have become an enormous fan of Prime Now. I order on Amazon. I do pick up at my local Whole Foods, which is about a half a mile away. I sometimes do it 3 or 4 days a week. And it's fascinating. I mean, all you have to do to get free pickup is get it over $35. You can buy a couple of tomatoes and a loaf of bread at Whole Foods sometimes and spend $35. It's been terrific, and it's helped me avoid having to go into the store. And it's enforced a certain amount of loyalty when it comes to Whole Foods that I'm really surprised about. One of the things that the Wall Street Journal story talks about is the whole notion of, while some companies are investing in big and robotic warehouses, it is a lot easier, faster, and cheaper for retailers to start thinking about putting mini e-commerce centers in their stores, in the back of their stores, attached to their stores. They're a lot faster to get up. They're cheaper to pull together. You can get them up and running in 6 months. And that can help them deal with consumer demand in a very localized way. And it always seems to me that anything that retailers can do to drive the solution to local stores is a really, really good thing because it allows those stores to be responsive. It also seems to me that any store that is in the process of being built right now or designed has to be built with these things in mind. I used to say, listen, retailers need to kind of lay in the pipes, if you will, so that they can develop this e-commerce capability, functionality down the road. Well, we're way down the road at this point. It seems to me that click and collect stations have to be created to make it easy for consumers. There ought to be processing centers in the back of stores. And quite frankly, I want to come back to something I've talked a lot about recently. I think it's time for retailers to start thinking about narrowing their focus in terms of SKU count, really focusing on the things that make them different. And when it comes to e-commerce fulfillment, sometimes through auto replenishment, which I still think is a big deal that retailers need to take advantage of, those are the things that e-commerce can do well. Really understanding what the customer wants, kind of becoming part of their lives on a regular basis, and making it easy for them to connect with the retailer and giving the retailer the ability to create a relationship with the shopper. It's time to really move on these things. The window will close on when retailers grocery stores can be effective and do this, because there's always going to be competition. Amazon is going to continue to push. Walmart's going to continue to push. Kroger, Target, all the big companies are going to continue to push. And especially if you're an independent retailer, it's time for you to just grab this bull by the horns and move forward. You got to be bold. Yes, it's a risk. It means taking a chance. But you've got to do that if you're going to be relevant, going down the road. Anyway, that's what's on my mind this morning. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.